everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Vlogmas episode 17. We are getting very close to Christmas now. I'm getting super excited. If you're new to the channel, we are doing Vlogmas with a twist every single day in December. From December 1st to December 25th, we are doing a brand new tip for traveling to Disney parks around the world. And today we're actually back at Walt Disney World. We've been spending a lot of time in Walt Disney World this time around, but we are talking about early morning magic. So let's go. So if you have a look at the Walt Disney World website, you'll see that there is something else for you to get some extra tickets for, and that is for early morning magic. Now I'm going to talk about early morning magic for Fantasyland and Magic Kingdom, but I think there may be some other early morning magics around the rest of the resort, but we're going to focus on Fantasyland and Magic Kingdom this time. So what early morning magic is it's a ticket that you can purchase to get into the park super early. You then have access to 3 rides which are open early for you to use. You could go around the park taking some beautiful pictures of the park in the early morning, and you get a buffet breakfast inside of the Pinocchio's Village House restaurant inside Fantasyland. The rides that you have access to are Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Peter Pan's Flight, and The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Now these are the only rides that are going to be open to you in early morning magic. No other rides are going to be open, but Fantasyland will be completely closed off for you. Only people who have purchased early morning magic and have a wristband will be able to get into that area. The wristband will be given to you at the park's entrance when you turn up, either before or during the early morning magic hours. So early morning magic, it's a little bit difficult to say, but before or during the early morning magic hours. If you guys have turned up at Magic Kingdom early before, maybe to catch the previous opening show or to get into the park because you have breakfast reservations, you will see as you turn up to Magic Kingdom earlier than the standard opening hours, there'll be a gathering of people, usually to the left of the park, and they will be then led into the park or allowed entry into the park early to meet their reservations. You will check in with a cast member there at the entrance to the park. They will give you this wristband and they will allow you in. Then that whole area of Fantasyland is just closed off just for you, and you have between 7:45 in the morning and 10 AM to enjoy exclusive area of Fantasyland only for people who have early morning magic wristbands. And now for the tricky bit, the prices and the dates. So first of all, early morning magic is $69 per adult and $59 per child, which is quite a lot of money, I think. And then it only happens on certain days. Obviously, if the park itself has extra magic hours, it won't be happening on those days. It will happen on days when it doesn't have extra magic hours, and usually I think it only happens in summer, but somebody can check me on that. It may be happening. If you want to do early morning magic, check the Walt Disney World website. They'll have a calendar showing when it is and is not available. So do I think extra morning magic is worth it? I actually think it may depend on you as an individual and how you like to experience the Magic Kingdom, depending on whether you feel like it's worth it or not. So first of all, let's talk about the price. The price is high. $69 per adult is a lot of money, especially when you've already paid to get into the park. If you're paying for you and your family, that's a lot of money that you have to say goodbye to get into the park for a very short amount of time earlier than everyone else. So 7:45 till 10 in the morning is not actually a lot of time. That's 2¼ hours that you get before everyone else, which, okay, for some things may seem like a big deal, but for others is not really going to feel like a lot of time. And then you also had to sort of schedule that some time to enjoy the buffet breakfast that you get at Pinocchio's Village House. The buffet breakfast itself was great. It had a good selection, but it was nowhere near the selection of some of the big buffet breakfast restaurants such as Crystal Palace or Chef Mickey's. It had nowhere near that amount of food. They had some good cooked breakfast foods, so things like bacon and eggs, and then they had some yogurts and bagels and these kind of things, but generally it was a very simple buffet breakfast. There was no extra frills about it or anything like that. The good thing is that you can sit in Pinocchio's Village House till quite late on in the experience. So if you're trying to maximize your time in early morning magic, the best thing to do is to turn up before early morning magic starts, say 7:30. Try and get in a little bit early so that you're inside of Fantasyland when it really kicks off. Start doing all of your rides until 9:45, and then rock up at Pinocchio's Village House to enjoy your buffet breakfast and stay there until around 11. That's how you maximize your time. So if you do that, obviously you're able to get on the Winnie the Pooh ride, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Peter Pan a lot. Now this is where it really is worth it. If you are the type of person, or you're the type of family or the type of party that likes to go on rides over and over and over again, Early Morning Magic is definitely for you. We were the first people to get onto Peter Pan's flight that day. That's the first time ever that I was the first person to ride a ride, and because there was no queue after us, we actually just got back off and went straight back onto the ride. Sadly, you can't just stay in the pirate ship and just go round again. For, I think, safety reasons, you have to get off and get back in. But the cast members were just letting us sort of go take a shortcut route to get back on and not have to go all the way around the queue again to just get back on the ride. So if you are the type of person who really enjoys doing rides over and over again, this is a fantastic opportunity to do it, and it also saves you so much queuing time. If we rode Peter Pan that amount of time and queued for it, it would have been you know, tens of hours to do that, rather than, you know, walking on and off it as we got in the Early Morning Magic. I'd say for us, however, we're the type of people who are quite content riding a ride a couple of times during a trip. We don't need to ride it, you know, more than 5 or 6 times. And so after we rode the ride sort of, you know, 3 or 4 times, and, you know, it was quite novel that we were able to do that, after that we were a little bit bored. You know, there's not, I guess it's not a lot of time, 2¼ hours, but there's also very few rides that you can do. If they had all of the rides open in a Fantasyland, I think it would be a lot more worth it. But, you know, sort of the novelty of going on and off rides, which only take sort of 3 to 5 minutes to get around the whole track, wears off pretty quickly. Then, like I said, the buffet breakfast was good, but it wasn't as good as some of the places like Crystal Palace and those kind of things. You can't spend your dining credits on the Early Morning Magic or on the Early Morning Magic tickets, so you have to pay extra. There's no way that you can get that involved into your standard for what you're paying for the rest of your vacation. So all in all, I think for the price of what it is and the amount that you get from it, I don't actually think it marries up. I'm not entirely too sure it's worth it. I am glad that I've done it, because we actually got some fantastic shots of the park during that morning, and actually if you are a photographer, this is a really good thing to do, because you will get some beautiful shots of Fantasyland, of a very, very quiet Fantasyland with the morning sun if you do this. But otherwise, I think maybe you want to second guess it. So my review, actually probably a little bit negative this time. If you fancy doing Early Morning Magic, only really do it if you're one of these people who is quite happy to ride a few rides over and over again and then get a relatively pricey breakfast. So thank you so much for watching Vlogmas episode 17. I have no idea what we're doing for 18. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'll see you then though. Thanks everyone. Bye.